To Pascal's triangle 2, given an integer row index, return the row index of the Pascal's triangle. So we just did Pascal's triangle 1. I'll upload these at the same time. The gimmick with this one is that the prior one we wanted to get all of the rows leading up to, well, yeah, if we're given the number 5, we get the first 5 rows. With this one, if we're given the number 3, we only want the third row. We don't want rows 1 and 2. Actually, sorry, we want the fourth row. We don't want rows 1, 2, and 3 because it's 0 indexed. So I think it's going to be the same logic. It's just going to be a matter of how do we avoid using up memory that we don't need to, because we don't need to hold on to the rows. We just need to hold on to the previous row. Once we solve row 2, we don't need to worry about row 1 anymore. That thing's gone. So I am going to copy this. I'm going to copy the solution because, no need to be redundant. But now it's a matter of how do we get rid of rows? All right. I think maybe we could use some base cases to solve it quick, because basically we just want to hold on to 2 rows being the previous row and the current row, and then we return the current row by solving it with the previous row. Do we even need arrays? Yeah, I don't really think I can think of a cool way to do this. Yeah. I don't think that there is like an algorithm to solve for a specific cell. I'm sure there is, but I'm sure it's complicated. Okay, so let's just say if row index, we'll just solve those base cases right away. So if it's 0, return this. If it's, we don't need to do elif because it will have returned otherwise. If it's 1, return 1, 1. No, wait. No, we don't need to do the second base case because once we have the first previous row, we can just solve that. So previous row equals 1. Current row we're not really solving. We don't really require okay, here's my thought is that we don't really need the base case of just instantly returning the row index 1, because we can just use row index 0 to solve it. But you're not actually using row index 0 to solve it because those are just edges. It's only 2 cells. So instead, we'll say if row index equals 1, return 1, 1. All right. Awesome. So that'll solve the first 2 problems, and that's good because now we can start solving from where the previous row is actually required to solve this. Because 1 and 2 don't really know 0 and 1 don't really know each other. You don't use those are just edges. They don't actually care about the number above them. They're just by default 1s. So now the previous row is 1, 1. The current row is just an empty array that we're going to solve later. Actually, we could just put that in the thing. Okay, now we have for our in range row index should be +1 because we're getting the 0 index, but so if we're getting the 5th index, we want to go until R is 5. So if row index is 5, it'll stop at 5 since it's exclusive for the upper bound. And we can start it from 2 because we've already solved 0 and 1. 0 and 1 are already done. Okay, now we can say current row is that. It's a 0 for blank in range r plus 1. We set the current row 0 and negative 1 to be 1 and 1. And we don't need this because we know that we're going to have to solve some middle values because the only ones that don't have already been returned. So now when do we make the current row the previous row? Now once we solve the current row, we can just say previous row equals current row. Yeah. That should do it. And then return current row. Yeah. Maybe I got one of the numbers wrong. Let's see. Run it. Done. Come on, give me a good time, please. Yeah, bad memory, but we take those. That's awesome. Okay. I feel like the runtime's good. I'm happy with that. Who cares about memory, you know? There's so much memory nowadays. You can find terabyte popsicle sticks. Went to the store. I was like, can I get some popsicles? And they said they have 32 gigabyte popsicles. I was like, what? It's a treat. Why would I need it to hold memory? And they said, well, that's that's really not your business now, is it? I said, it's not, but I feel like I'm still allowed to ask questions. And he said, well, that's a valid question, and I appreciate you and your time. Truthfully, I don't know either. I think that we're just living in this hypothetical world that you created for an exaggerated point. And I said, wow, I didn't consider that. Anyway, I'll take 3 boxes. It's like 3 boxes. Yeah. Woo, woo. Done. Thanks for watching.